covering recruiting and the transfer portal for the Razorbacks. This is Inside Arkansas Recruiting with Dudley Dawson.
Welcome into the Inside Arkansas Recruiting Podcast presented by Goat Lab Brewery. I'm your host, Dudley Dawson, and on today's edition, we're going to take a look at some things that happened over the weekend. Obviously, the biggest one, Arkansas losing in its ninth game in a row this time to Texas in Austin. Arkansas played a pretty good first half, but kind of got away from them in the third quarter. It has been the case a lot this season. Obviously, no head coach has been named so far, even though there's been a lot of speculation about one being named in either the next 48 hours with a possible Tuesday press conference. We'll see if that does come to fruition. Obviously, lots of names being thrown out there. Everybody's got a candidate. Everybody's got a source. Iowa State's Matt Campbell, who's had a great season, a great career there at Iowa State, was thrown into the mix earlier this week. Washington Commanders offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury, the former Texas Tech head coach and Arizona Cardinals head coach, was out there. And some of the same names that have been thrown out. North Texas is Eric Morris, Memphis head coach Ryan Silverfield, Tulane's John Summerall. Even some names like Clemson's Dabo Sweeney has been put out there. If indications that I trust are true, there's been somewhere over 20 coaches interviewed via Zoom or in person, but it's been a very quiet type situation with not too many comments being coming from out of the university. A lot coming from message boards and stuff like that. Another name that has been thrown out there that seemed to have gotten some momentum here lately is Alabama defensive coordinator Kane Archer, who used to be the head coach at Southern Miss. He also was a football player at Arkansas during the DMAC and Peyton Hillis and Felix Jones' time. Somebody that played here and obviously has ties in the state. Right now is the defensive coordinator at Alabama. We'll see if he's a legitimate candidate and see what how it plays itself out. There was one kind of interesting note this weekend. Florida State, a lot of people thought that they might fire Mike Norvell, the Arkansas native who played at UCA, but he has been given the vote of confidence. It says he'll be back next year. That means obviously I think that Gus Malzahn, there were rumors out there again about him possibly being interested in the Arkansas job or the Arkansas job. Arkansas people interested in him. He's the offensive coordinator there, so it looks like those two may be there again next season. Really, the big news this weekend, other than the Arkansas football game, was Kane Archer, the outstanding Greenwood senior quarterback, decommitted from the University of Central Florida and went and took a visit to Utah on Saturday. It's my understanding, he's supposed to be back here today on Monday, and he got to see Utah's thrilling 51-47 win over a Big 12 opponent, Kansas State. They scored the last two touchdowns, and he committed to them on Sunday. So this had been in the works a little bit. Obviously, they both sides knew what was probably going to happen. It's interesting. When he was committed to UCF, he was 881 miles away from Greenwood. Now he's 1,056 miles. Greenwood is from Utah's campus, 53 from Fayetteville. I do not expect Arkansas to give up on him if the new head coach comes in and that's the quarterback he wants. I'm sure they'll try to go after him. He seems pretty happy with the Utah commit, but as we know, things change quickly. And once they get a head coach in here, obviously things will start turning around and more in an orderly fashion. Arkansas had offered him very early on, but sources tell you that Arkansas offensive coordinator and now interim head coach Bobby Petrino was worried about his height. He's listed at 6'1". All I know is that set a national record for single season completion mark, 81.6%. He's 36-0 as a varsity starter. As I said, been watching him since junior high. Excellent quarterback, excellent leader. These are kind of guys that you don't get out of state. And as we've gone over many times over here, one of the things that I think has hurt Arkansas in the football realm these last few years is too many people leaving the state, not being recruited hard enough by Arkansas. It's different things. Missouri seems to get a lot of these guys. And ironically, the quarterback, Rocco Marriott from Missouri, was thought that to be leading toward the Tigers apparently, but he committed to UCF, and I think that kind of spurred things on a little bit. As I said, Kate is supposed to fly home today on Monday, and we'll see what goes from there. He has a game with Benton this weekend. Sylvan Hills and Shallow Christian are the other two teams in Class 6A in the semifinals. You could possibly have a Greenwood and a Shallow Christian final again if both of those win uh, to get to the finals again. But that's going to be an interesting matchup for them this weekend. If Kane Archer does end up playing his college football in Utah, he'll be the second one of the Arkansas 2026 class that will be doing that. Is Braxton Lindsey of Rogers is headed to BYU to play his college football, although I'm sure whoever is named as head coach will try to take a look and get to talk to him quickly because, again, an outstanding, versatile, all-around football player. They have Bryant this week, who is undefeated. Rogers just with one loss. Should be two great matchups that we were just discussing there. As we mentioned, a lot of those coaches that whose names have been thrown out there, some of them complete their regular season this week. Others are in position, like North Texas Eric Morris, whose team is 9-1 to play further, not only in conference championship games, but have the opportunity to be in the college football playoff now that it has expanded. So that's probably playing a little bit into the timing of this announcement. Want to point out that obviously whoever is named the head coach, whether it's a sitting head coach somewhere or whether it's a defensive coordinator somewhere, they will have very little time to turn things around in terms of the end of the regular season and getting going on their staff and recruiting here at Arkansas. There is a December 3rd through 5th signing period for the early high school guys. Arkansas has 13 current uh, high school commitments. December 3rd is also when you can start signing junior college players. So that'll be an important time. And then obviously, as we've talked about a lot, the transfer portal situation, January 2nd through 16th, is going to be big on how this program might be able to turn itself around a little next year, and obviously in the future. You've got to have an idea of what you're getting done once you get in here. If you're the new head coach, interested to see what type of philosophy, who they get, and if he'll be available to get all the money that you need to in NIL to be able to push yourself and get the talent that you need and compete in the SEC, which obviously they haven't been able to do this year. As always, we like to talk about our sponsor, Goat Lab Brewery, with locations in Lowell and Fayetteville. 1214 there, North Garland, down from the university. Obviously, moving the Arkansas-Missouri game to 2:30 was probably good for most folks in terms of being able to get food before and after. I certainly encourage you to do that. There at the Goat Lab Red, which is the new one that Bill Adams and his wife Rhonda have opened this season. It started about the same time Arkansas's season did. Certainly, I think the restaurant's had more success than the football team has, but we talk about that all the time. They have an excellent place, own several other businesses, but they get a lot of great food, also craft beers, and if you're Dallas Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles with the biggest comeback in Cowboys history, you can get a Razorback either there at the restaurants or in Lowell. You can bring some of that home that they've crafted and bottled and put up. So it's an excellent place. I couldn't recommend it any more highly. They do a great job sponsoring us here. And but the most important thing is it's a lot of great food, a lot of great craft beers, and a lot of great camaraderie that you'll have the opportunity to grow with it as it grows throughout the years. As we were mentioning, Arkansas, Missouri at 2:30 on Saturday. Arkansas is scheduled to have two visitors in this weekend, at least on the official visits. Those are Taylor Schaefer, a linebacker from Iowa Community College, a Wisconsin native, and Duncanville Texas Prep cornerback Braylon Edwards. Both are scheduled to be in here. As obviously, if there's a head coach named, there's some shifting going on. There could be a lot of things. I think as we get later in the week, we'll know far more about who's going to coach, who's going to visit, and all those things. As I've tried to say many times, it's going to be a tough turnaround for the head coach because not only is he if he's a sitting head coach or a sitting assistant coach or sitting defensive coordinator, he'll have his own job there to try to take care of if you're playing in the playoffs or playing in a bowl and all those situations. But that is December 3rd through 5th is when they have that signing period. One of the hitches in there is that on December the 1st through 7th is a dead period, and what that basically means is you will not be able to have any in-person contact with recruits as you try to flip them. However, you can call or text them, and I'm sure that whoever is hired as head coach will go after the best players that he can in Arkansas. Hope that you can flip them. Obviously, Brian has like 6, I think. Couple that are going to Oklahoma and Missouri and some other places. As we've talked about over and over, there's several players in state that are still in the playoffs. In fact, we're hoping to have Bentonville wide receivers, Daquan Barvo and Blair Trey Irvin III, on here with us this week. Bentonville is taking on Conway in one of the Class 7A semifinals. Conway, of course, has Tay Lockett, who has remained true. Cornerback from Conway that originally was from California. It's a rematch of Bentonville's big win back in week 2. You've got Hot Springs Lakeside and Arkansas offensive lineman commit Tucker Young and his team, who have had 2 great seasons back to back. They're taking on Little Rock Parkview, who's obviously had several great seasons, and Bobby Bolding took over for brother Brad Bolding there this year, and they've obviously done really well. It'll be a rematch. Parkview won the first game. We'll see how this one turns itself out. Bryant, as we talked about with playing this weekend, they beat Fayetteville 42-0. And to end the season of a commit from Arkansas or from Fayetteville, an Arkansas commit safety Kendrick Williams. As we noted a little bit earlier, they play Rogers. Both of those should be tremendous matchups on the gridiron this weekend. And we'll have several shows this week, maybe even more than usual because of all the news that might come down the path here, with the head coach and commitments and their situations, what they're looking like and all that. The opportunity to we're also going to talk to former Malvern star, Jalen Dupree, who is getting in the transfer portal. We're going to kind of follow his path as he goes along. He was texting me earlier tonight, wanting to know if I knew who our Arkansas coach was going to be. I think he has some interest, obviously, in coming back. He was Colorado State's leading rusher and one of their captains this year before deciding that with their head coach, Jay Norville, no relation to Mike Norville, being let go, that he wanted to move on to a different situation. I'm sure that Arkansas will be a factor there, and we'll see if the new head coaches are interested in bringing him in. I would tell you that he's a little bit like Mike Washington. Washington may be a little bit faster, and obviously he had a great game there early on against Texas, but 6'2", 210 guy who can really run inside the tackles, and then that's always a good thing. So we'll be talking to him as it goes along. Also, if you saw our Friday episode, Danny Beal, we're planning on having him on. He's the number 1 player in the state of Arkansas. He was committed to Oklahoma State before Mike Gundy was let go. He's still in the playoffs. Has a game this weekend, and he continues to kind of just feel the situation out in terms of what he's going to do. Ole Miss, Missouri, Arkansas, North Carolina, and Oklahoma State remain in the mix, from what I'm told. But he's focusing more now, as his head coach said, on playing this situation and trying to get as far as they can in the playoffs. We appreciate everybody listening and watching to the Inside Arkansas Recruiting podcast sponsored by Goat Lab Brewery. We have a lot of great content here. Obviously, it's going to be a big and probably wild weekend as they name the head coach. Sure, there will be some people happy, some people sad, some people who will be excited about it, some people who will, have a lot of things to say about it. But as I said, we've got a lot of great content here, not only with football recruiting, but football in general, basketball, baseball here at Arkansas has John Neighbors and his guys have put a good little system here together, a good little program that I think has really has caught the attention of a lot of people. The immediacy is one thing that I really like in terms of being able to talk to the fans, get the information out there. As I said, I'm Dudley Dawson. And thank Goat Lab Brewery for the sponsorship. And as I always say before we get out of here, remember yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. Let's go out there and do something to make the world a better place.